So this video is on decimal operations and is a CBA review. So when you're multiplying decimals, you can look at it as a model and you can model them. The way that you do this is you take the 5/10 that you're multiplying, and that's 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shaded. And then you have, that's going down, and it can go either way. And then you have 8/10 going across. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so what's double shaded is your answer. And so if we're looking at this, 5/10 times 8/10 is 40 hundredths, or 4/10. And if we count all of these shaded squares, we'd get 40. So just know that one number comes straight down, one number comes straight across, and what's double shaded is your answer. Now what this looks like with a double grid with a number greater than 1 is you would have 3/10. Well, you'd have to do 1 and 7/10, sorry. 1 whole and then 7/10. 1 and 7/10, and then 3/10 would come down, 1, 2, 3, and your answer would be this. See, the 3/10 is coming all the way across, but your double shaded would be your answer. So that would look like 51 hundredths, and if I counted these, it would be 51 hundredths. So when you're multiplying decimals without the models, you want to look at them, and first you want to estimate, and you also want to say how many places. So on this one, I'm going to say 4/10. I'm actually going to write 1.2 up here times 4/10, and it's just a 2-digit times a 1-digit, but I've got 1 decimal place here and 1 decimal place here. So I multiply like normal, and then I'm going to have 2 decimal places in my answer. So 1, 2. So it's 48 hundredths. And does that meet my estimate? Yes, this is like half of 1.2, which would be 6/10 or less than 1. And this is less than 1. This one, if I were to estimate, I'd say 3 times 8 is 24. And then I'm going to set it up, 2.5 times 8, and I'm going to multiply 20. And I've got 1 decimal place here, so I want 1 decimal place in my answer, and so my answer would be 20, and that's close to my estimate of 24. And then if I have 251 thousandths times 50, I'm going to set it up like that. Even though this is a smaller number, it has more decimal places. And then I'm going to multiply like normal. And then add it up. And I should have estimated, and this is going to be about 12, because I'm taking a quarter of 50, and this is 3 places up here, so it's 3 places down here, 1, 2, 3. So it's 12.55 would be my exact. So make sure that you count your decimal places and that you've estimated so that you know that you have the right answer. So you might want to pause here and think about or write down in your notes the difference between a dividend and a divisor, and that the quotient is the answer to a division problem, because you need to know this vocabulary and understand what number goes where. So when you're actually dividing decimals, it says make the divisor a whole number by moving the decimal point to the right. And move the decimal point and the dividend to the same number of hops. This is the same as multiplying numbers by 10 for each hop. So I have 2/10, this number 12.65 divided by 2/10. Well, I can't have a decimal in my divisor. So I move it over and it hops one place to the right. So in my dividend, I have to also move it one place to the right. And so now my decimal point comes straight up and I can divide it out and I get 63.2. So make sure no decimals out here. You move them over, and whatever you move over on the outside, you move over on the inside. Now let's look at some of the vocabulary in operations, and this is in all word problems. If you're talking about the difference, it would of course be to subtract. And the quotient is of course the answer to a division problem, or you would divide. And product is the answer to a multiplication problem, so you would multiply. And sum is the answer to an addition problem, so you would add. And then there's some other key words that are in word problems. There's many, 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 but these are some of them that you'll see. Cut, if you're cutting just one piece off, it might be subtract, but if you're cutting in terms of equal pieces or each piece, then it is divide. And times, you are multiplying, and each is you are dividing up into each. So you're going to see multiplying in word problems, and it says Anthony walks 2,500 miles around the park. How far has he walked after 9 times? So that's going to tell me to multiply. So I'm going to put 0.25 on the top because it's bigger, and I'm going to put 9 on the bottom because it has fewer digits. And this has more digits, it's not a bigger number. And I've got 2 decimal places, so my answer is going to have 2 decimal places. Now I multiply like normal. 9 times 5 is 45, and 9 times 2 is 18, plus 4 is 22. And I'm going to go 2 places, so 1, 2, and so my answer is 2 and 2,500. So that's 2 and 2,500 miles. And so that's going to be my answer. And if I have a grid, I'm going to make sure and put the decimal point, decimal part into the grid. So if I'm dividing decimals, so that's multiplying that was multiplying decimals in a word problem. This is dividing decimals in a word problem. The question is, a bookshelf is 8.4 feet tall and has shelves that are 1.2 feet tall. How many shelves does the bookcase have? So it's divided up by 1.2, and so that is the key word is each, and dividing this up, and so that's going to be your division problem, 8.4 divided by 1.2. And to actually do that math, I'm going to put 8.4 in the house and 1.2 outside, and this will move over one place to get it out of the problem, and this is going to move over one place, and then that's going to go straight up, and 12 goes into 84 7 times, and so that means that I'm going to have 7 shelves. They're each going to be 1.2 feet a piece apart, and it's going to be a total of 8.4 height. So there's a thing called formulating equations, and this is like what we've been doing in class called writing a number sentence. It's determining what operation, it's not solving anything, but it's determining how to set up a problem or what operation you're going to use. And it's called equations because there's a variable, and the variable is a letter used to represent a number that's being solved for. So it's going to look like something like this. Nina has a new job. She stops at the coffee shop every day. Coffee costs $3, so coffee is $3. And a bagel costs $1.75. For the week, Nina has coffee all 5 days. So there's 5 days in a work week, and she has a bagel for 2 days. Write an equation to find T, the total amount that she spent this week. So it's going to be 5 days times the coffee of $3, and I'm going to add to that the 2 days times the bagel, which is $1.75. And so this, in the order of operations, would say do what's in parentheses first, or do what's multiplied first, and then add up. So I find the total for the coffee and the total for the bagel and add those together. Now, it's not asking you to solve this. You don't have to find out how much she spent. You're just writing the sentence that shows how to find what she spent. And so you'll be given a problem, and there'll be 4 choices, and you'll find the one that matches the problem the best. So here's your homework check. I know this has covered a lot of things, but it's been a review. And this homework check is going to cover a lot of things so that we can make sure that you have an understanding of everything that's expected of you. So here is a model, and it says which number sentence is modeled. So you have to count and count up based on this which answer would be correct. And I'll give you a minute to pause to do that. And then here you're going to match up quotient, product, and loss with the words that would mean that. So number 2, 3, and 4 is matching up this multiple choice to these words. Number 5 is selecting the equation that matches the word problem. Bonnie bought 4 paperweights for $16.99. Which equation could be used to find C, the cost of each paperweight? And so you'll look, am I going to add, subtract, multiply, and divide? What numbers go where? What's going to give me the right answer? And these are the last 2 word problems. So pause and do your problems that you need to, and put it on your homework form and turn that in to your teacher.